Super Skill Pinball Ramp It Up. This is not a new game, and it is a game that I've had for a while, but I guess I misplaced it. I hadn't seen him in a while until, coincidentally, I saw it on a shelf. I was like, oh, that's what it was. I was also going on a trip with my family. This game can be played solo, so I brought it with me, and I finally got to play. In this game, we're gonna play Pinball. The game comes with 4 different pinballs that you can play. It's playable solo and there is no AI, meaning that even when you're playing multiplayer, each player will have their own pinball. You'll play your own thing, I'll play my own thing, and at the end we see who has the most points. So really the only advantage of playing multiplayer is that, well, you can hang out with your friends while you're playing, and the other person's score sets the threshold that you're trying to beat. Otherwise, you're just trying to score as many points as possible, but in terms of gameplay, nothing changes, with the exception of one pinball that is better if played in teams. Now, all pinballs are represented by these cards here, which are dry erase, and they're double-sided, so that's how you get to 4 pinballs, and each player will have one of them in front of them. And they're all dry erase boards. You're going to use a dry erase marker, and all of the 4 pinballs rely on the same set of core rules with unique bonuses and effects for each pinball. But it is basically a roll and write game. Somebody, doesn't matter whom, will roll the dice, and then we'll have 2 results that everybody will be using, and usually you'll be choosing one of those and mark something, if possible, on your board. There are game effects that and you have this token representing the position of your ball. There are also some effects that may give you multi-ball, in which case you must try to use both results. The idea is that you choose a result and then you mark a result in the area where your ball is going to go next. So for example, we start there from start, and see, I got a 1 and a 6, and those are the boxes available there. And suppose that I decide to do that. Booyah, so that's where I am right now, and next time I need to mark something in the area where my ball can go next. And that changes, of course, which areas are connected to which, changes from pinball to pinball. And again, in multiplayer, in multi-ball, I need to use both results. If in an area cannot mark anything, then the ball moves down, and usually without doing anything until basically it reaches an area where it can mark something. It is also possible, I can also choose to let the ball go through, down through certain areas if I want to reach a certain bonus. And suppose, for example, that was my actual turn. Now, for next turn, I need to mark a 6. So from there, I can go there, and suppose that I decide to mark one of those 6s on these like bouncy thingies. And so now I have the option next time to either let the ball go to the area below, or if the result allows it, to move across the arrow so I can bounce around a bit, and suppose I decide to do that. Now I am there, and so next turn, depending on the results, I can again go to a lower area or keep staying there. And booyah, for example, I decide to do so. I want to bounce around for a while because each time that I hit one of those bouncers, I get a point there. There will be a point where I need to go lower, and again, maybe I can mark something here next time. And then there will be, alas, sooner or later, a time where you need to reconcile with the fact that the ball may just fall. Suppose I'm here, I need to go down there, I got a 6 and a 4, so depending on what I mark, that's gonna decide on which flipper I'm gonna land, and suppose I land on the red flipper. And now, when I'm on the flippers, then I can finally go up. So the general idea is that usually the balls will go down until they hit the flipper and they go up. If they need to go to this area and there is nothing available, then you lose the ball, bloom, and you lose it. You can also choose to let it go through some of these out channels if they're still available and you have the right result. You're still going to lose the ball, but at least you get to score some extra points. As you can see there, for example, if I mark that one, I would score 2 points per filled yellow flipper box. Or I may just get stuck and poof, it goes down. there that way. And you also have these boxes here that will bring the ball to one of the two flippers with some points associated with it, which is not bad. And so from here, suppose I'm there. Because of that, now I can reach red locations and say, because I'm on the red flipper, and maybe I decide to hit that one with that too. So now I'm there, for example. When you hit a full set, usually that will unlock a bonus. For example, here you can choose one of these bonuses. Also, once you complete a set, then it resets, and so you can use it again. And once I lose a ball, then the round is over for me, and I had to wait for everybody else to be done if I'm playing multiplayer. And we play 3 rounds, and at the end of that, the player with the highest score wins the game, because again, there will be a lot of things that will give me points, both just by hitting stuff, but most importantly, you want to build up to some bigger bonuses. So Go for Gold is the basic one. I'm going to erase it right now so I don't forget. There you go. Is the basic one, and it just exemplifies the general idea. Bounce around and try to get some of those other bonuses. On the back display here, you have some good stuff. You're going to try to go in the loop as much as possible. Gives you good points based on how many loops you're able to do in a row. If not, also hitting the last mine, which needs to be hit in order, is pretty good. And then from there you'll go back down here and back to the main display. And then we get some more complicated stuff. Top speed, for example, is one in which you will hit spaces here, which can be hit as many times as you want. These ones you need a specific number, but you don't mark them, and that's why it's infinite. And that will change your speed. You start at 0, and suppose I hit the spot gas +1. Now I am at that speed. Later I hit gas +2, and I am at +2. Later I hit gas -1. I'm back here. The modifier that you get here is basically added to whatever die result you're using. At a speed +1, now I effectively have a 4 and a 5. That's the idea. You play 3 rounds, which also means, it also gives you the restriction that is in round 1, you can only have +1 maximum, round 2, +2, round 3, you can finally go to round 3. You will need some of these higher results above 6 to hit some of these spaces that you can see can go to 7, 8, or 9, and there's a lot of points if you're able to reach this area and go around a bit. If you fail to do so, you spin out all the way down to the flippers. And that's pretty much the main idea behind this one. High Roller Heist, possibly my favorite one. You only play for 2 rounds, and they're gonna be more elaborate. And the idea is that you're trying to access these places here. You're stealing stuff from a casino, and you can steal it from the mint, the vault, or the casino itself. And so, through game effects, you want to unlock bonuses, and then you want to go up there. The bonuses will increase your chances of actually scoring well up here. And I may go to one of these 3 areas, such as the casino, in which I'm trying, of course, to make sets. The more I get in a certain kind, the more valuable they are. In the vault, well, again, these first I need to perform certain actions to be able to get there. I need to first set the code and then beat the code. Then I can access these scoring spaces here. And by far, the mint is just the most fun, in which you will hit these blocks, and as you hit them, then basically the first blocks that you hit have to be at the bottom. Say I hit that one and that one. And then the ones adjacent to them going up become available. So later I could do that, and maybe that, and that, and then that. And it's just fun to dig holes in that, trying to get to the top of the mint, which is very difficult to achieve. But there's a big source of points. However, there are also game effects that will move the guard around. And when the guard moves, you simply erase a mark and you place another mark as the guard moves around following those arrows. And if your ball is in the same area with the guard, it gets trapped, and so that's not good. That's a negative effect you have to deal with. And then we have the the pinball that is meant to be played as a team, and I play the game only solo. So this one, well, simply you ignore the effects that will help your opponent, will help your teammate, or you use them on yourself. And so in that sense, that was a little less interesting to me, because without those effects, played as a solo player, that felt a little more basic, a little more similar to the original game, not quite as exciting as the Top Speed or the Casino Heist, but still there were interesting things, such as grabbing the chair and just spamming that section there, slamming and yet in that section there. So this is the general idea. It is a simple game. Of course, it has a random element, but it's one of those games where you roll dice a ton of times, and each single result impacts the game only a little bit, so it's not too terrible. You rarely will have like that terrible bad result. If it happens, probably didn't plan ahead if that hits you too hard. It may happen, but it's not going to be very common. There are also bonuses that give you skill shots. So basically you can bank a certain number. Say as a bonus, I got a skill shot of 2. And later, if I really need a 2, I can ignore whatever was rolled, erase the skill shot, and I can use that. So you're going to have a lot of small random checks, none of them huge per se. You're going to have ways of mitigating that. So the luck element felt just right. Matter of fact, I felt it was less luck here than playing real pinball, but also maybe that it may also be that because I'm so terrible, and so it feels like real pinballs are all about luck and not about the skill that I don't have. Anyways, the pinballs have nice variety, and again, frankly, the high roller heist and high top speed, they're really fun. Those are my favorite ones. When I decide to play the game again, I'll probably go for these. Go for gold once you have the general idea. As an instructional game, is really good. And maybe at some point I'll even play the team-based one as a team-based one. But I'm in no rush, because as a solitaire game, this one really worked, because, hello, it's just me. I can concede a lot of options, or some turns are just obvious. It's just like, boop, done. Also, when I lose the ball, it's the end of the round for everybody, because I am the solo player. I'm not sure about the flow of the game as a multiplayer, because then I think I'm just going to be annoyed if I lose the ball and people keep playing for a while longer while I'm out of the game. Or if people take long when there's a turn in which it was super fast for me, or I'm taking long and I see everybody's done and then I feel guilty. And consider again, there is virtually, for 3 out of 4, there is absolutely no interaction among players. I just don't see the advantage of playing what is a multiplayer solo game next to other friends. If I had the privilege of friends coming to my game night, then I prefer to play games in which we have some form of interaction. So as a solo game, Super Skill Pinball Ramp It Up was pretty fun, really entertaining. As I played as I was traveling, I can also testify that it travels really well. Setup is instantaneous. You put your pinball out there, place a token representing a ball, get a mark on the dice, and you're good to go. It is true that each pinball has a little bit of a learning curve, because there are just a lot of unique specific effects, and so if you haven't played in a while, you need to refresh your memory that way, but it's nothing too bad. So as a solo game, I'm happy to recommend Super Skill Pinball Ramp It Up without any reservation. As a multiplayer game, I don't know, I feel in no rush to try it in that format.